Just wanted to wait, no. Never mind. All right, it's 6:01. We'll call the meeting to order, February 5th, 2025, 6 p.m., 6:01. Roll call, seeing all council is present tonight, and Deputy Mayor Ferguson will be online on Zoom. Declaration conflict of interest. If anyone has one, they can declare now. Read the agenda, see none, I can see Sue now to be sure. Addition, deletion, or approval of the agenda, we would be looking for a motion.
I move to approve it.
Moved by Councillor Sonia to approve, seconded by Councillor Dealey. Questions? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Contrary minded, seeing none, motion carried. Approval of the minutes, and these will be both, as always, regular council meeting of January 8th, 2025, and committee of the whole of January 15th, 2025, right?
Yes, apologies.
Threw me way off. Be looking for a motion to accept both those minutes.
I make a motion to accept those minutes.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded by Councillor Sonia. All questions? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against?
Aye.
See- Looking up to the screen to see Sue.
She's on my screen too, if that's better for you.
No, and just end up bobbing my head all over the place if you see it and I don't. Presentation to council, none. 7, business arising from the minutes, and this will be the rural plan that was attached to council's package with the changes from the last meeting. So we would be looking for a motion on the rural plan.
And just if anybody's wondering, it needs to be the motion that is up there, and it's quite lengthy because it includes the summary portion of the bylaw.
And that would be second and third reading.
That would be second reading by title and summary, and then third
Third.
reading by title is also
Right.
listed. But there was a minor change, that's why it's different than what's on the agenda for today.
I'm happy to provide the motion.
Do you want me to read it where it's different than what was in the
In the package? Yes, sure.
Two.
well, she does.
Okay, yeah, no, I just wanted to be sure we're following.
As long as it's read in its entirety,
Okay.
yeah.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so the motion that Sue would be providing is be it resolved that bylaw C-2-2024, a bylaw to repeal and replace Silver Musquash Planning Area Rural Plan regulation being the rural plan for the rural community of Fundy Shores, be read by title for the second time. And the title's included at bylaw number C-2-2024, a rural plan for the rural community of Fundy Shores, and by summary. And the summary is as follows. The Council for the Rural Community of Fundy Shores, under the authority vested in it under the Community Planning Act, makes the following rural plan bylaw herein called the bylaw or rural plan. Subsection 1, bylaw number C-2-2024, the rural community of Fundy Shores rural plan bylaw is hereby adopted. Subsection 2, this bylaw may be cited as a rural plan for Fundy Shores. Subsection 3, this bylaw applies to the rural community of Fundy Shores. Local government boundaries as outlined in subsection 68 of the regulation 2022-50 under the Local Governance Act. Subsection 4, this rural plan bylaw 1 divides the rural community into zones as shown on a zoning map. 2, prescribes powers reserved in the Regional Service Commission. 3, regulates how land, buildings, and structures in any zone may be used. 4, sets standards that land use and the placement, erection, alteration, and use of buildings and structures must conform to. And 5, prohibits the use, placement, erection, or alteration of land, buildings, or structures other than in conformity with the purpose and standards mentioned in clauses 1 through 4. Then it goes back to regular subsection 5, for the purpose of the bylaw, the rural community is divided into zones as attached on the rural community of Funny Shore zoning map attached to Schedule A. And subsection 6, regulation 11-LEM-035-00, LaPro Musquash Area Rural Plan Regulation, Community Planning Act enacted June 7th, 2011, and all amendments thereto is hereby repealed.
And that was the motion by Deputy Mayor Ferguson, read by Linda. Do I have a seconder for the motion? Second by Councilor Thompson. Questions on the motion? Yep.
Just
Or Sonia.
one, and it has nothing to do with the act, it's the pictures in it. I noticed that 2 of the pictures that are on the shorelines use iron rock for erosion, and because we're encouraging other types of that prevention, I believe we should change those pictures.
Swap that, whatever, yeah.
That's all.
Any other questions on the motion? Before council has none, I do have one. I don't know if it's a question or a statement. So just concerning, I know we've been back and forth on this, a piece of land in Dipper, the subdivision. With the long or the extended driveway, which may go to Prac. So I just want to be clear before I move this forward, that piece or that has nothing to do whether this rural plan's passed or not passed. It's a
That's right.
provincial, okay.
Yeah, no, and Linda communicated that with me too, to ask that. And it doesn't, so it doesn't take away something that was there. In fact, that particular subdivision, it zones the whole area that they're looking to subdivide for development. No, it's something which we were working with the proponent towards a solution. We're trying to work with the current bylaw before the rural plan even comes into play, and we're still having challenge recommending what they would love to do. But still, we could say to them, go to the Prac, they can look at it one-off. And there may be able to apply conditions to it to make it work. But what we recommend as staff, we're using guidelines that come through DTI. We're also looking at what the intent of the regulation is in terms of the overly long access. They don't want to have that. And it's really important for emergency vehicle access. And actually just maybe not to belabor the point, but it did come up even in the climate change adaptation plan session yesterday about the importance of making sure that subdivisions are planned with emergency egress in the future due to extreme weather events. So if you have longer accesses that aren't maintained publicly, there's higher risk that they could get washed out in a high rain event. So there's lots of reasons to make sure that their risks are mitigated. So that's what we would work in. That's how we work with a recommendation plan. But again, there's always exceptions, and that's where a planning committee can overrule that and say, in this case, we allow.
And that's what I wanted to be clear on, is
Yeah.
I just didn't want to see this plan go through or pass tonight, and then tomorrow we say, oh, well, now it's pointing fingers at our plan and it's on us, and where
Yeah.
we'd like to, and I have been in conversations with them as well. And as me and Lyndon, we'd like to somehow council, Prac, and everybody sit down, we try to figure this out
Yeah.
and make it work. To the best that we can but I just didn't want this to come back on us as it was part of the plan.
Yeah.
So if it's a provincial thing or a technical thing on that end, then I have no further problems with it. I just wanted to be really clear that the plan had nothing to do
Exactly.
with it.
It is not to do with the Funny Shore Council's decision. It's something which predates that, and it's been long established in the DTI manual, but it's more recently something we're recommending for private accesses. So, and there's very good reasons to do that, but yeah, that's a conversation we can have.
Yeah, and that's all that I had. I just wanted to be clear on that piece of it. So I guess if council has no further questions on it. Seeing none, Sue has none. You're good to,
You need to have your motion, I mean, not your motion, your vote.
yeah, that, well, that's what I want to
Okay.
make sure there's no further questions from anybody or any input on it. All right, so all those in favor of moving the plan,
Aye.
contrary minded? Yeah, something would happen. Seeing none, the rural plan has passed.
Second reading.
Or, well, you got the other one there? Is it on?
Yep, there's still, that motion
Yeah.
right there is on. Is
But is she, do we not want as well? At least. So Bruce, yeah, I guess we need a second, the second reading or final reading,
Yeah. Third by title.
The second motion, Helen?
yeah. So it'll be the
I
one
can read that.
right below.
Be it resolved to adopt bylaw C-2 2024. A bylaw to repeal and replace the Pro Masswash Planning Area Rural Plan Regulation. Being the rural plan for the rural community of Fundy Shores by giving third and final reading to bylaw number C-2 2024, a rural plan bylaw for the rural community of Fundy Shores.
So third reading moved by Councillor Bent, seconded by Councillor Sonia. All those in favor, questions?
I have a question. Should it say enacted as well or in that motion, in that last motion or?
I mean, it's fine, if it's. Sorry, read that last part to me then.
The whole motion?
Yeah,
Be it resolved to adopt bylaw C-2 2024, a bylaw to repeal and replace the Pro Musquash Planning Area Rural Plan Regulation. Being the rural plan for the rural community of Fundy Shores by giving third and final reading. To bylaw number C-2 2024, rural plan bylaw for the rural community of Fundy Shores. That should be third reading by title.
yeah, no, that works.
Do you need
Just
to have
once you-
enactment?
No, because once
Okay.
you actually do that. And then it's signed by yourself and the mayor and sealed, it's enacted.
Okay.
Questions any further? All those in favor,
Aye.
contrary minded? See none, motion's carried. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Alex. B, dog, no,
No, I didn't
What?
say anything.
okay.
I smiled. That's all.
Dog control bylaw. The dog control bylaw was forwarded to, I keep saying public safety, safe community and emergency preparedness committee. For consultation recommendations attached to tonight's agenda is the final draft from that committee and legal. If council wishes, this bylaw can be moved forward to March's agenda to begin the adoption process. And we would be looking for a motion that was the one that's in your package to move that forward.
I move we move the dog control bylaw to for movement on the March agenda.
Moved by Councillor Thompson, seconded by Councillor Bent. Questions on the motion?
So just for clarification, the first reading would happen at the March council meeting. That gives us time to move ahead with the communications plan on it as well. For public awareness. Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Seeing, against? Okay. Sue's. We had all but one, so motion's carried. EMO bylaw. This also was forwarded to the Safe Community and Emergency Preparedness Committee for consultation recommendations. The committee had no additional comments on this bylaw. Council wishes this bylaw can be moved forward also to March's agenda to begin the adoption process. It would need a motion.
Can I provide a small comment on
Yep.
that prior to? I'm wondering if, just where where I put a communication plan together for the dog bylaw, if we could see how well that goes. And if it goes well, then use it for this bylaw as well. So I didn't know if we could do them one at a time, just that way any comment or feedback we had, we could adjust the practice. I mean, this one right here isn't urgent by any stretch. I
So
mean, we
did
have our
you,
plan.
so would it be recommended to just table this one for now,
Yes.
for till next meeting? Or
Um,
just table it?
I would table it until almost like April. Just that way we'd have all the communications done for the other one. I just
Okay.
wanna see if the public likes a different type of a communication package on bylaws.
Okay, so. Hearing that, I guess I would need the motion from council to change that from March's agenda to table it till April. We need a motion on that.
I need to change it from March's agenda to table it to.
Moved by Councillor Sonia, do I have a seconder? Seconder by Councillor Deely. Any further questions on that? All those in favor, contrary minded, seeing none, motion's carried, table till April. D, the Community Complex Working Committee Terms of Reference, which is also was provided in your package. This was per council's request at the committee of the whole meeting of January 15th, the terms of reference be drafted for consideration. These terms provide an outline on the anticipated project and the timeline to support the needs assessment of the proposed facility. I would need a motion to move that.
I'll give you the motion.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Ferguson. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Bent, questions on the motion?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yep.
So we're gonna be voting on the package that came to us being put into place? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay, so I do have some questions, I guess,
Okay.
as to the package.
Okay, just 1 second. Need to fill it up here.
Can you bring it up on screen?
Yes.
Yeah, I probably should have too. More or less, I guess, excuse me. And the terms and condition,
What page is that on?
I don't know, I'm just reading that agenda.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Who is choosing who's going to be on the committee?
Council would make, there is a committee appointed by council.
Okay,
Would all of current council be? on
That's
that?
the way, when I drafted the document, it was council's like an ex officio of it. And then there would be X number of extra people appointed based on, region, demographic, specialties, things like that.
so current council members would be on it after a new election comes
That's not, it says council.
automatically, okay. Can a member of council go on as a committee member, not representing council?
Of course, but I'm just trying to think of how that should be worded in the document.
Okay.
Sorry to be looking up, I'm trying to think of how how you'd want that. Because, I mean, this document's really only in place for 8 to 10 months. The needs assessment only takes 6 months. But I wanted to give enough time to get our questionnaire out and ready, and I have discussed that with the engineering firm, that we would do the questionnaire. We would do the civic engagement portion of it, and they would just take the results, and then they would have particular stakeholder meetings separate from what we've done. So they've agreed to all that, so the bulk of their work is over a 6-month period, so I wanted to give us like a shoulder on either side.
Okay.
So this is just to get that needs assessment and that first design phase done. So it's really just an ad hoc 10-month term.
Okay.
So that would still cover this council's, but when the building, when we get to that phase,
Mhm.
I would recommend council, much like this one, put in terms of reference, get your community members, everybody at the table.
Thank you.
Yeah, so, and that's what I was gonna say, is this is only an ad hoc committee until that stuff's done, then it'll be, it'll be dissolved, till a new one comes into play. For, once all that stuff's done, phase 2, I guess.
Thank you.
I have one question. if that's okay.
Yep.
I'm not sure if it's clear in the document how the chair and vice chair are selected of the committee.
You're absolutely right. How would council like those individuals to be chosen? Should it be? Should it be something when they apply to be on the committee, they say they'd like to be the chair? Or is it something once all the names in? Council would say, you know what, we'd really like this person to be the chair, this person to be the vice chair? Or would you like the committee to decide amongst themselves? And I can draft that into the document, however you choose.
I probably leave it up to the committee unless it's going to be council role.
Oh, council could ask a council member to take that charge position if they'd like. Too, like I said.
And I think, I could be wrong, but correct me if I am, I think that's what you're referring to, is that council appoint somebody before they go after the names are drawn or picked, or is it once they're all done in their first meeting, then they pick amongst themselves?
I'd like to know which way.
Yeah, and that's what
Yeah. I think I'm leaning towards the latter one, Mayor.
Leave
Once
that
the
to the
committee's
committee?
formed, yeah, they select.
So
It's
the,
it's a lot of responsibility. That's why I ask.
like the composition that's here right now,
Mhm.
would be people from local organizations, different people hopefully that would go on this committee, and then they would choose who was the chairperson, is that?
That's what I'm understanding from Sue's recommendation. It would be once the committee's formed, then the committee would decide who chairs it. But, I mean, that's a decision of council, however you'd like to see that done.
So I guess on that,
We
since
just
we're on,
have to make sure it's somebody, as Sue said, it's a big responsibility, so.
And I mean,
They would have to accept.
right,
I think,
Sorry, the committee can
No,
always
go
come
ahead.
back and ask counselors to do
Yeah.
it.
and that's what I was gonna put out there, was that if they struggle at their first or whatever meeting and they didn't know or they could always come back, and then council, I guess, could enact and say, you know, whoever's gonna be appointed or put on. But it would still come back to council. If that sounds right. Everybody good with that?
Yep.
Okay, was there anything else? So given those and with that update, if everybody's still good with that motion with those changes? And I think I did have a mover and second.
yes, you did.
So all those in favor,
Aye.
against, seeing none, motion's carried. General government report. Mayor's report was attached. If there's anything, I won't go through the whole thing, so if there was anything anybody had, I would answer, but I think most of it was pretty clear cut, a lot of meetings and it's been a busy couple weeks and looks like it's not gonna slow down anytime soon. Council's report, Deputy Mayor Ferguson.
My report was submitted online. The Community and Economic Development Empowerment Committee did not meet.
Everything?
Mhm.
Okay.
It
Councilor
is,
Bennett?
yep. All good.
My report was submitted online. Mine was as unbusy as yours was busy.
Okay. That's a good thing, don't knock it. All right. Councilor Dean.
My report was submitted online. And, are we doing the other report later? Or
Up to you, if,
are you good with me? Yeah, okay. So yes, so that was. Put it online and, we have an update, our next meeting for recreation, so recreation, tourism have now joined together and we're now going to be coming with something else.
Recreation and destination.
Thank you, Heather. Recreation and destination, and we're having our next meeting, our first meeting as a new group on February the 11th at 6:30 here. And for recreation, the old recreation, because I'm still not used to the name, but Musquash Community Center will be having its bingo at February the 14th at Station 1. And the only other thing I had that I wanted to put out there was a reminder that about our recreation library, the snowshoes and stuff that we have. So if anybody's looking to get out there and use that stuff and borrow it, come out and see what's there.
Yeah, perfect. Yes, now that we're getting snow, it'd be nice to see the snowshoes used. We got lots of them.
We've had somebody actually reach
Oh,
out
okay.
to ask, I don't know if they've come up yet, but they have.
Perfect. Councillor Sonia,
My report was submitted online, and I don't have anything.
perfect. Thank you. Councillor Thompson,
My report was submitted online, as far as crack. I don't have a report this month, because there were technical difficulties and it couldn't happen, so Alex and I have worked on that, and hopefully next meeting I can get in. Well, there was one other thing too, I did have a call from a resident in Chance Harbor about not being plowed out at all this winter. Frederick Road.
yes, so,
And I know I saw the public safety committee has dealt with that, and I did go look in the road as well, so
Yeah.
I assume you had something to do.
well, no, I don't. It's everybody. So yeah, and just a quick follow-up on that is we did meet with Department of Transportation. So with the district
Regional director.
regional director. And yeah, so we did bring, that was on our list from public safety, they brought it forward and. Yeah, so good to hear that,
So,
yeah, no, and so just on that, some of those smaller roads within Fundy Shores is subcontracted
Yes.
from DTI, so just. Yeah,
I
it's just
I
another,
explained that to them
Okay.
as well, and I told
Yeah.
them that they should call DTI.
Yep.
And make a report, just so it's on record, but I would.
yeah, and basically, and that's what we. Did with DTI as well, is we just said, you know, I know you guys subcontract, but we're bringing it to you, you bring it to your subcontractors and make sure they're aware and. You know, so everybody's accountable and, yeah, because if they don't, and again, if they don't know about the issue, right, then it's
They
not gonna
don't,
get
yeah.
fixed, so it's glad to see it works. So perfect. Anything else? That was everything?
No, that's everything for
Okay.
me.
CAO's report to council, which was online. And I would look for a motion to accept that report.
Make a motion to accept the CAO report as submitted.
Councillor Daly moves, seconded by Councillor Thompson. Questions on the motion? All those in favor? Contrary minded, seeing none, motion's carried. Plan and inspection report, January report is attached by, from Alex. And he is here tonight, so I'd look for a motion to move that first.
Make a motion to.
Moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Councillor Bent. Questions on the motion? Just want to be sure, because Alex has been sitting here, I don't want to see, he looks bored. We can give him something.
So I do have one question.
Yep.
Are more people getting permits now
I would say
for our
they're,
area?
and it's actually helpful when we get calls, like counselors, you guys will be, you know, wondering like, I saw this or that. So, I'm not gonna say it's particular, but we did receive a call that we did follow up on, and we're yeah, pursuing someone who built without a permit and to get them in compliance, and it's happened a couple of times last year where council's been able to relay things you're hearing from citizens, but it's, making sure people are just following the right steps and getting all the correct permits, because it can, affect others if you're not doing all the right steps, like making sure septic is done correctly and so on and so forth. That can affect neighboring wells. So it is important people get permits, and so we appreciate when people reach out.
Right. Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Contrary minded? Seeing none, motion's carried. Passed. I was gonna say that's, you can stay if you want.
You don't mind?
No, I don't blame you.
I wasn't bored about that.
I don't blame you. No, thank you for coming tonight and answering those questions and good to see that the rural plan's finally
Yeah.
on its way out.
Congratulations,
So
guys, too. It's a big effort for council to do your first plan, and
yeah, it's
Well
well,
done.
and it's good to have it done and we can,
yeah.
start moving on to.
Big champagne.
You guys deserve it.
No, thank you very much. Safe travels back.
Thank you.
Hey. Public safety, fire department report. Was it online?
Yeah.
Okay, I must have missed it. Looking for a motion to accept the fire department report.
I'll make a motion, please.
Councillor Daly, seconder. Councillor Sonia, questions on the motion? I'll just make a quick statement. I was gonna bring up public safety. Just to thank the fire department. I know they've had a few, a little busy time and a few things that, I know they're always ready to respond to but again, we prepare for the worst and we always hope for the best. And I know a few of the calls they've been on lately have not been good, and I just like to extend my thanks to each and every one of them. And, I know there was some stuff going on there in the past week or two and just so that we do appreciate them and we are thinking about them when they obviously respond to calls that's not up to well, some of us don't want to respond to. So we do appreciate what they've done and again, I thank you to them and the leadership. So from that, economic development synergy. That was also submitted and look for a motion to accept that report.
Give you the motion.
Oh, Councillor Thompson, I've been looking for a seconder.
I will.
Councillor or Deputy Mayor Ferguson, questions on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, seeing none, motion carried. Recreation, community culture, community coordinator report.
Sure was not
No.
submitted.
Move on. The only one left is mine, Safe Community and Emergency Preparedness Committee. We did meet, there was a few things, that were on there that actually came to tonight's agenda, which was the two bylaws, that one that we've had tabled and one that's moving, next month. And there was some changes to that they recommended, which are included in those, and they are working on the items for Safety Week or Safety Month coming up in the next, I think it's May. So there'll be some more details on that, and they did bring forward, again, some policing items, and roads and plowing, and so that was about everything. I guess they covered a little bit of everything this month. Correspondence, we did receive a letter, an invitation, I guess, to the international conference in Vienna, Austria. No, I will not be going, for the record, because we are live tonight. We're not budgeted for it, and I don't think we would be anyway, but so anyway, it was an invitation. Minister of Education, we did receive a response letter, as you know, that we applied for a school that was being built within southwestern Brunswick. And we were not turned down, but we were just put on hold, I guess.
acknowledged.
Yeah, we were acknowledged and thanked and. Yeah, we'll wait and see. And an introduction letter from the National Farmers Union of New Brunswick. That was all the correspondence that we received. We did issue, correspondence to the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure in November for a meeting, which has been scheduled for February 3rd that me and Linda went to. Also in response to correspondence issue, we to the Department of Public Safety in November 2024, and a meeting now has been scheduled for February 11th, 2025. And me and Linda will be attending that in Fredericton. Approval of payments, unless there was questions in the correspondence. Asked, I guess. Okay. Approval of payments, general government report attached. I would look for a motion.
I'll motion to approve the payments.
Councillor Bent, looking for a second. Councillor Sonia. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Again, seeing none, motion's carried. Approval of payments to the sewage commission, there is none, okay, just have to glance down with you now. Approval of accounts, expense report, December 24th, 25th, they were attached. Unless anybody had questions. We will go on to new business.
Those usually do get a motion.
No, I didn't have one.
I'm sorry.
For both, we didn't have no payments, just the
No,
the
it's
expense
the
report.
expense reports.
So I guess I'll need a motion for expense report of December 2024 and January 2025.
I'll make a motion.
Councillor Dealey, seconded by Councillor Bent. Questions on the motion? I guess I'll break the question. Go ahead.
Have the, income and expense report, that's not saying, right?
What? Cause there should have been two.
Not this one.
That's too much money, just so you know. Yeah, that's right. That's over what we were going to get. Yes. Mhm.
Okay,
That is correct.
okay, well, I had a question on this, but that's not the same motion.
And they're both on the same.
Okay, then I do have a question.
Yep.
Sorry. True. to be precise.
Okay, we did get money back. We got back $3,100 from WorkSafe New Brunswick.
Work safe, okay.
Yeah.
And the firefighters, do they get workers' comp?
Yes, they do.
And do they get?
No, that's covered under our workers' compensation.
Oh, it is, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Um. Answered that earlier, so I'm good on that. Reimbursement, the summer students, do we get reimbursement?
We
from the
did.
Program?
Yes,
Oh, and
Yes,
that's
we-
included, we're still,
that is, the way it is just the incomes and the income and the expenses. In the expense, I don't do that correcting entry.
okay,
The auditors do those.
okay,
So I believe our grant was for $5,000 or $6,000, like at the end of the year, we were good.
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
We
okay,
spent
I
our
just was
budget.
wondering if we did get anything.
Yes, we did. We got seed last year. And for 2025, I did apply through federal funding and I have applied through seed again as well. So fingers crossed those come through for us.
Yeah, for sure, thank you.
Okay, any further questions on the reports? All those in favor? Contrary minded? Seeing none, motion carried. New business, social media. While Fundy Shores continues to develop its programming and social media presence, staff has drafted a sample guidelines and policy that could help direct our social media work and ensure Fundy Shores goals of transparency and brand is protected into the future, which was broke down to 1 and 2 guidelines. Draft guidelines have been prepared and submitted to council for review and consideration. And a draft policy on social media use on behalf of local government when representing local government has been included in tonight's agenda.
And, sorry.
No,
didn't mean to-
No, go ahead. I was gonna go with a motion and then,
Okay, well, I just wanted to say on the policy, I know there was some questions floating around council, and it's more for our official Facebook page, like official Fundy Shores. It doesn't reflect your own personal Facebook pages unless you start saying some really interesting things. To put it politely, things that, unless you say things that are not true of what happened in council. And you're saying, that you represent council with something that council didn't say, you know what I mean?
Yes, I took it that way.
Don't use your own personal opinions.
You can still use your own personal opinions, just sometimes if it's very strong opinions, you should put, this is my personal opinions and does not reflect that of council.
Eh,
The rest of it, oh,
no,
sorry.
and I guess just on that, because I do have my own person, or my own,
Oh.
I have a personal Facebook and I have a mayor's Facebook that I'm active on. So just for on the record for that anything that's on there posted, if it ever came to me through staff or through council, that it wasn't correct or I'll always go at the will of council. So if there was something on their council disagreed with or didn't like, and it came back to me or back through staff to me, I would definitely change it or I would. And that's just me, and I know we need this in place for going forward, because again, we have an election in 14 months that it could be altogether different at this table. And so I think we do need the policy, but just, I guess, to be in mind that, yeah, sometimes common sense is not.
For me, when drafting it, it was really just to protect Fundy Shores and what the goals of council was. And I know, like Bobby and I want to launch like a recreation page for Fundy Shores. And nothing, you know what I mean? It's just Bobby and I might not always be here. So if there's people after us that don't always have the same mindset of protecting those qualities of the community, then those policies are in there to make sure that they do.
Same line.
I didn't see anything in there for. If you're allowed to copy it to another site.
Oh, yes, you are.
But the problem with that, there's a lot of, and I went to a seminar on this
Okay.
in Fredericton. If there's a lot of bad things being in the comments and so on, you can shut it down if it's on yours, because you can protect it. But if it's over on Phase, for instance, on the 790 communications, you can't, I don't think you have any control on shutting something like that down. So be warned that and I'm no expert, I just.
Me neither, but I think you can, I'm not 100% sure,
See,
because I know on my own one. When it's shared, if I can go in, I still get the update, so if, I'll just say if Councillor Dealey shared mine or a story. And it went in and somebody commented on it, my insights and everything still comes up to me. I may not get it as quick as I should, but I can go in then and either stop commenting or all.
But if you need it shut down in general safety.
you'd have to pull it from
You'd have-
your
yeah.
original post, I think. You'd have to take off.
But I don't think it goes off the other post. There was something, were you on that?
I think if they'd like if somebody was to screenshot it and share it, you couldn't do anything about that, but say if I posted something and Tina shared it, if I took it down, it's no longer available, so.
It disappears. if you
Yeah.
Right,
close it
but
down.
if somebody was to screenshot it and use it that way, it's completely different.
And you'll notice on those, it'll usually come up when you go back to comment on it with the gray box that says you are no longer able to
And
read this or the
It's
user
no
has blocked you.
longer
Yeah,
Available.
I would just recommend questioning somebody that's a real Gerber on that, just to make sure that our policy keeps us safe, because it was the mayor of Moncton in one of the
sessions,
Yes,
spoke about it, and I mean, she was getting death threats.
good.
and she couldn't
And-
close it down.
and in that, actually, and you guys were there, she actually spoke quite bluntly.
Bluntly, what was said.
At UMNB on that, very
Wasn't
bluntly,
lovely.
she was very, yeah,
That's why.
yeah, no.
Thank you,
certainly.
I never thought of that, so I'm gonna, yeah, I didn't think of it that way.
And I don't know what the changes would be from like a personal or politician site to
Mm,
a business site, I'm not sure. So no, it's a very good point.
yeah.
So, yeah, no, that's,
I'll look at that and
Call
maybe,
them here about.
right? I'm gonna
I know
have to-
some of the other like pages, like public pages, they can turn off any comments at any time.
And I did see, Eastern Charlotte, they have a social media kind of policy that's on their website that says, you know, we do reserve the right to remove any comments and things like that, and
Actually,
maybe
they
even that,
have that
yeah,
first.
maybe to put,
on our page right now, I did change it, and it's like, please be kind and or respectful and kind. So,
some people,
and
That-
I do believe in the policy or in the guidelines, one or the other, it does say if we delete a comment, we need to keep it and put our reason why we deleted it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
no.
It is just for being respectful of everyone, so.
So with those changes, or I guess those additions, or for Linda to look into, is everybody good with that?
I just had one
Go ahead.
Yeah.
about, the designated user, the authorized user.
Yes,
It doesn't say authorized or designated by who.
council, it's council's policy, so they're the ones that say who's responsible for the Facebook pages. And then
Okay,
the,
so that's just assumed through that, okay,
yes,
okay.
because it's part of somebody's job description to be responsible for media relations, so. Through the job description when they're hired. They're the ones that are to do that.
And that would be the same for all policies that we invoke. It would all come with that, I get no assumption, it's our policy. That we've done through council, so council would have the final say.
I did want to say in the policy that it does say that, you know, if we're posting on the official pages of Fundy Shores and at the end of the month, we will launch a second one that's called Fundy Shores Recreation Hub. The approved users have to have social media training, and I have found social media training available at UNB, just an online seminar that we can attend. Thankfully, it was another community. I reached out through our association networks and they were able to point me in the right direction. So it's nominal fee of like $100 a person, so I think, that further supports the protection of the community, that even when somebody else comes along, that they should have to take that to be able to access our sites.
Now, at this point, you are the only person that,
Right now,
you are the designated person.
yes, but I will say when the recreation one comes online,
Yes.
Bobby will be responsible for that one, and I will back her up when she's not available. Because I know people will say, you know, I don't get enough information about recreation, or I'm getting too much on our site, so I don't like having multiple pages, but I think that might help the public, because the ones that want to have certain information will come to one site, and ones that want recreation only can go to her site, so.
And there'll be a pass through to the.
Yes,
What about if we get into the tourism situation? I don't know that we ever will get that far with videos and all that, but how would we approach that?
we could add another line in the policy that states, you know, our tourism destination or page, this is, you know. If we get to there, or maybe council at the time will decide to leave it all on one page or only use our website or what have you, so, yeah.
Any further questions? Seeing none, all in favor?
Who moved and seconded it?
I did it.
Who moved it?
Oh.
I'll second.
But I did have a mover and seconder, because I remember saying it. 'cause-
No, I interrupted.
Oh, yeah.
That was me, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
okay, that's why, because I had the note there that I had moved it, somebody did. All right,
Tina,
so. I was kindly interrupted.
I'm sorry.
All right, so we have a mover and a seconder now. No further questions on the motion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, seeing none, motion carried. 13B, Eastern Charlotte Chamber of Commerce membership. Since Andrea Foster, the Executive Director of Eastern Charlotte Chamber of Commerce presentation last fall, would council like to provide direction on if it wishes to join the organization as a member? The annual fee for joining are $55. And look for a motion for that.
I think it's a motion.
Motion by Councilor Deely, seconded by Councilor Sonia. Questions on the motion, and I did have a motion, I marked it, I have a motion. Questions on the motion?
Mhm. Yes. So they give out minutes and they have ongoing discussions.
I know there are other things that they add through whatever, like that may benefit right now, I don't think there's, other than the networking
The
side.
networking stuff, they are doing a Bonspiel fundraiser too coming up, if
Yeah.
anybody's interested, for curling. Mhm.
So I think the networking itself is a good thing, it puts our name out there a little more.
$5 just for that.
Yeah, yes.
And I did have a conversation with Andrea, and so it's not that they can change their name from Eastern Charlotte Chamber of Commerce, but she was open to the idea of even on their promotionals or their website of saying Eastern Charlotte Chamber or Fundy Shores, a member or something, having Fundy Shores in there. She was willing to work around that idea if we joined. That was before, that came out, but they are willing to work with us to promote Fundy Shores more if we're a member. So just as an add-on. So it was moved and seconded for the $55 annual fee to join Eastern Charlotte Chamber of Commerce. Any further questions? All those in favor?
I
Aye.
Oh, against? Seeing none, motion's carried. Thank you. And now we would look for a motion to go into closed session.
Should be a motion.
Motion Councillor Daly, seconded by Councillor Thompson. We go into closed. Do you have the time?
6:54.
Just let me know when you're,
Oh, is a vote to go into closed?
oh, yes, thanks. My gavel, all those in favor,
Aye.
against,